Upper limb musculoskeletal disorders, epilogue, take 1. If you suspect you're suffering from this disorder, then do seek early treatment. But prevention is better than cure. It's up to us to take the necessary preventative measures to guard ourselves against these upper limb musculoskeletal disorders.
Cut! Good take. I think that's a wrap. Thanks, everyone. That was wonderful. Thanks, Chin. You were great. All those medical terms didn't trip you up at all. A very professional job.
Oh, come on now. You're just flattering me. But I've learned a lot about upper limb musculoskeletal disorders in making this video. Yes, I'm quite an expert now, so I guess I should thank you.
Oh, you shouldn't be so modest. If you need anything else, just call me, okay?
Of course I will. Oh yes, if you make a VCD copy of this program, do you think you could send me one?
Of course I will. Don't worry.
I better be going.
Okay?
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye.
Hi, Gordon.
Oh, hi there, boss. What have you got for me?
Hey, no need to call me boss. Here, I have a film about upper limb musculoskeletal disorders. I need your magic touch for editing.
Upper limb musculoskeletal disorder sounds horrible. What are they?
You'll know when you're finished.
Okay, might take me a week to finish.
Let's see. Oh, sure. That'll be perfect.
You'll owe me lunch.
No problem. Hey, Gordon. How's the editing going?
Well, it hasn't been a piece of cake, I can tell you. Just those 2D graphics took me several days to sort out. What's more, I spent all last night on the 3D animation.
Well, is it finished or not?
Almost. Want to see?
You bet.
Right, you ready?
Sure.
What are upper limb musculoskeletal disorders? The upper limbs are here, the parts of the body from the shoulders down to the hands. Musculoskeletal disorders refer to a variety of soft tissue ailments. The first is muscle injury due to repetitive, forceful motions that cause prolonged muscle contraction. This reduces the supply of blood and nutrients and results in the buildup of harmful metabolites, so we experience fatigue and pain. Continuous muscle contraction coupled with insufficient rest periods to remove these harmful metabolites will lead to muscular disorders. Second is tendon injuries. Tendons connect the muscles to the bones. This portion of the tendon is enclosed in a sheath which protects and lubricates it to allow it to move freely. Repetitive or forceful motions will affect the lubrication of the tendon sheath and reduce its ability to protect, causing friction between the tendon and its sheath and leading to inflammation. This type of inflammation is known as tenosynovitis. Tenosynovitis is considered a chronic disorder. Also, cramp of the hand or the forearm is another fairly well-known work-related upper limb musculoskeletal disorder. Tenosynovitis of the hand or forearm is one of the most common occupational disorders. Lastly, there's nerve compression. Body motion is a muscular activity initiated by nerve stimulation. Inflammation of the tendons causes swelling of the surrounding muscles, which then press on the nerve, hindering neural transmissions and causing numbness. Prolonged compression of the nerve can even lead to muscle degeneration. Upper limb musculoskeletal disorders often occur when work involves repetitive motions. Also, lifting heavy things, using poorly designed hand tools, or working for prolonged periods in the same position without sufficient rest time can also be to blame. The catering industry is a high-risk group for upper limb musculoskeletal disorders, where workers perform rapid and repetitive motions such as roasting, chopping, slicing, can opening, mixing, frying, tossing, lifting heavy loads, and cleaning utensils. These all exert a strain on the wrists and forearms, which can lead to tenosynovitis. Another group at risk is clerical workers, especially those who have to type on computers for long periods of time. For example, data processors, computer operators and such like. People working in this field are often required to type fast over long periods, input data and operate a mouse, so their hands have little time to rest. These repetitive and rapid motions can easily cause injury and inflammation to the tendons in the wrist. Awkward posture is another major cause of upper limb musculoskeletal disorders. For example, if a worker's chair is set too low or isn't properly adjusted to the workstation height, then the wrists are bent when using the keyboard or the mouse. This causes injury and inflammation to the tendons in the wrist. Librarians are in another high-risk group for upper limb musculoskeletal disorders. When they're handling library books, they're always exerting force on their hands and wrists, as they often grab several books at once. This increases the span of the open thumb, as well as the strain placed upon it. Also, when placing books on a high shelf, the flexor muscles on the outside of the wrist stretch to carry the weight of the books. Without a proper footstool or ladder to reach the upper level of the shelf, the degree of stretching is even greater. All these factors contribute to tenosynovitis. As construction workers are required to do heavy physical work, they are also a high-risk group for upper limb musculoskeletal disorders. Their job often calls for them to put a lot of force on their wrists and forearms. For example, when moving building materials by hand, digging with shovels, breaking concrete with hammers, or even removing nails with a crowbar. All these activities cause an overexertion of the wrists and forearms and can lead to tenosynovitis. Another problem is the repeated use of vibrating handheld power tools, which can cause nerve compression due to pressure on the nerve in the carpal tunnel. Other groups include packers, beauticians, and medical staff. They are required to perform repetitive motions which can lead to various degrees of tenosynovitis. All these jobs involve extensive upper limb activities. The workers often have to make frequent, forceful and repetitive motions. And coupled with an incorrect posture, there's a risk of causing an upper limb MSD. Of course, apart from these industries, others may be concerned, so try to find out if your work involves similar upper limb activities. If it does, make sure you take the necessary measures to protect yourself against the threat of upper limb musculoskeletal disorders.
That's great.
Hey, you know what? I've been up virtually every night of the week editing this film for you. Now my shoulders are really stiff, and I've got pains in my hands, too. Could it be an upper limb musculoskeletal disorder?
Well, take a look at you. You really should rest and eat something. Now, to find out if it is, you'll have to watch the rest of the film. You can do that when we get back. The next part is interesting. It talks about the symptoms of these disorders and about prevention and treatment.
Well, let's go get some lunch in the meantime.
Okay.
Right, come on.
Let's go.
Dr. Lowe, how do we prevent upper limb musculoskeletal disorders?
Prevention is vital. If one suffers from upper limb musculoskeletal disorders and doesn't take preventive measures after treatment, then the injury can reoccur, and the problem could even worsen. So to prevent upper limb musculoskeletal disorders, we have now adopted a three-pronged approach, concentrating on workplace design, appropriate hand tools, and working arrangements.
In terms of the workplace setup, chairs adjustable in height and compatible with the desk should be used. If the desk is too high, it's better to install a retractable keyboard shelf and mouse rack under the desk so that the wrists remain level with the elbows. Items used regularly should always be placed within easy reach. Apart from this, other accessories may be added to the workplace. For example, using a wrist pad when operating a computer so the wrists are comfortably supported. Furthermore, if it's necessary to put objects in high places, then it's important to use a footstool or ladder to reach them to avoid overstretching the arms. People working in the catering industry should pay particular attention to the heights of worktops and stoves to avoid having their hands above waist level when they're working. When using a hand tool, it's important to choose one that fits the hand and the task. The tool shouldn't be too big or too heavy. Use of lighter hand tools minimizes straining of the upper limb muscles, which leads to poor working posture, such as bent wrists or overstretched forearms, which contribute to muscle injury. It's equally important to avoid carrying or lifting things that are too heavy. It's better to divide the load and make several trips, or use a barrow. This will make work easier and promote better working posture. With working arrangements, try to diversify the tasks. For example, after inputting data for a while, move on to do some other clerical work, such as photocopying, filing or tidying, or phoning. The advantage of diversifying daily tasks is that it can minimize static or repetitive motions and allow sufficient time for
Appointment at an occupational health clinic.
Upper limb musculoskeletal disorders affect many people's lives, not just in their work, but in their daily life too, where the extensive pain restricts their movements, affecting the ability to work. After watching this film, we hope you have a better understanding of these upper limb musculoskeletal disorders, a work-related illness. If you suspect you're suffering from this disorder, then do seek early treatment. But prevention being better than cure, it's up to us to take the necessary preventive measures to guard ourselves against these upper limb musculoskeletal disorders.
Great. Perfect. Hey, you know, since the film, I've really learned a lot about these upper limb musculoskeletal disorders. I realize it can affect anyone, and so now I take measures to prevent it and tell friends about it. Like the sound recordist, the lighting man, even the cameraman. They're always carting heavy things around. It's not good for them.
Yeah, but I'm in the same situation. Let's face it, if I'm not careful, I'll damage my magic hands. You wouldn't like that.
Hey, we forgot something.
What?
The Occupational Safety and Health Council. They're the client. We need their logo and the hotline number.
No problem. I'll see to it.
Okay, good man. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.